What's up, guys? Winner Kills here. Welcome back to a brand new deck profile. I'm bringing you a Spellbook deck profile here in 2018. Basically, I've got like a 14 card extra deck because I'm missing a card called Akashic Magician, which I don't have. So just assume that is in there as the 15th card. Got a pretty cool side deck, as you can imagine. This right here is one of the main reasons why I wanted to pick up this deck. And it's also just a nostalgia factor. I just miss this deck and have always wanted to play it. And just recently had an urge to Irresistible and had to pick up the deck. And just, yeah, here we are. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with the deck profile. Okay, so to start, I want to preface this as a definitely going first deck 100%. So, yeah. If that's why my build looks the way it does, just that is why. So we have 3 High Priestess of Prophecy. You summon this lovely girl by revealing 3 spellbook cards in your hand, and then it gets special summoned to the field. And then once per turn, you can banish a spellbook spell card from your grave and target one card your opponent controls. Target one card in the field and destroy it. So it's basically like a 2500 Trident when it hits the board, and it's your main boss monster. I would say I'm not playing World in this build because I'm not playing Temperance. I think running the Triple Priestess is just better in most cases. And then next we're playing Triple Blue Boy or Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Basically, if it's normal summon or flip face up, you add a Spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. I'm sure most of you have seen this card running around in other decks that aren't Spellbooks, so this is where its home is, obviously. Next we're playing 2 Justice of Prophecy. This is what I'm playing in place of the Temperances. Basically, during the end phase of every turn in which you activate a Spellbook spell card, you can banish this card from the field, add both 1 level 5 or higher light or dark spellcaster type monster from your deck to your hand, and then you add a Spellbook card as well. And then you can only use that effective Justice, obviously, once per turn, so you can't just summon both, and then banish both, add 2, and 2 spellcasters, and then 2 spellbooks. Fortunately, that's not how it works, but this is like a card that you use if you didn't open up too well. You can just banish it after using, playing like your tower, or, using some other sort of spellbook. And then end phase, banishing it, get a spellbook you're going to need for next turn, and get the priestess that you want to probably try to be able to set up the following turn as well. And then the last 2 monsters I'm playing are 2 Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. This is just attack, I guess. It's 1800 body, so it's a good normal summon when you don't have Temperance or you don't have Justice or Blue Boy. This is a pretty good summon to have. And basically, you know what Kaiku does. If he inflicts battle damage, you can banish up to 2 monsters from your opponent's graveyard, and your opponent cannot banish cards from either player's graveyard. So this is pretty good against some decks, and that's why I'm playing it. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. No hand traps. Like, I wanted to main hand traps, but I literally just could not find room with all the cards that I wanted to fit in here. And I would definitely be siding them as well. Definitely side in some hand traps in case you do have to go second. That's just common sense, I would assume. Then we have Triple Grand Spellbook Tower. Basically, your main field spell. Really the only field spell you play in the main deck, apart from siding in, your Secret Village against, spell-heavy decks like Brandish. Or I guess you could even side it against decks like True Draco or Invoke Mech Knight if you really wanted to go that far. So basically, once per turn during your standby phase, if you have a spellcaster in your grave or in your field, or on your field, you can target a spellbook spell card in your grave, put it to the bottom of your deck, and then draw another card. And then if this is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the grave, you can special summon a spellcaster monster from your deck whose level is less than or equal to the number of spellbook spell cards in your graveyard. So it's got a nice ability to float if they do pop that as well. So you can summon out a Kaiku, a Justice. You could even summon out a Priestess if you've got that many. The list goes on. Where's my other card? I was looking for my next card and there's only 2, but there's supposed to be 3, but I found it. Next is Triple Secrets. This is add a spellbook card from your deck to your hand, so it can add Blue Boy because he is a spellbook card, as is, just not a spell card, or spell card. Triple Knowledge. Basically, send to the grave either a spellcaster monster you control or one other spellbook card from your hand or face up from your field, except itself, and then you draw 2 cards. So it's basically a Pot of Greed that you can use twice in a turn if you have the Spellbook of the Master in the hand as well. And then another reason why I wanted to play this deck, right now is because we have triple fate right now, and this card is just really nuts. Basically, you get to activate different effects of this quick play spell based on the amount of spells you choose to banish for it. One, you can return a set spell trap card in the field. So if your opponent has one set back row, you kind of don't want to lose 2 Mirror Force, you know, kind of like I did a couple days ago. You just bounce it back to the hand, and that is no longer a threat to you. 2, it's basically Book of Moon, and then 3, you banish a card your opponent controls, and no, it does not target, so very, very good to have. And then we have Double Master. Basically, if you control a spellcaster, you use this to reveal a spellbook in hand, or a spellbook card in hand, so you can reveal Blue Boy as well. You don't need to have a spellbook spell card, you could have Blue Boy in your hand as well. And then it copies a normal spellbook spell card in your grave, so you can't copy Tower or Fate or Wisdom, which is the next card. And again, another reason why I wanted to play this deck right now was because Forbidden Lands is such a great card this format, because, you know, against True Draco, against Brandish, against Altergeist, you name it. But I figured, why not play a deck that just mains Forbidden Lands, and it's searchable, and I don't have to make my monster lose 800 attack. I just target a spellcaster I control. It's either unaffected by spells, other spell effects this turn, or unaffected by other trap effects. That's why it says other spell effects. Otherwise, I guess it wouldn't be affected by Wisdom, so that would work that way. But you can either make it unaffected by spells or unaffected by traps. And then Double Eternity. This is just an engine requirement. I play it too because sometimes you want to see it if you can't get to it. And I think it's just a good number to play. So in case you do have to banish 1, you have another main deck to search. And that brings me to the example. You never want to banish this card off of Fate, because you can't get it back with Eternity, and then it's just a card that's just always gone. So you never want to banish your Eternity. Always keep your Eternities in the deck at some point and searchable if there's a banished card you want to get to. Double Power. Basically, this targets a spellcaster control boosted by 1,000, and if that spellcaster just destroys a monster by battle, you get to add a spellbook spell card from deck to hand. And then you can copy this card with Master to boost something like this up to 3,800, run over an Ultimate Falcon. You know what I'm saying? Some real serious business. You can even boost your Priestess up to 4,500 if you're really feeling froggy. But that's it for all the Spellbook spell cards, and we're going to move on to the rest of the spells. And I owe this inspiration to a comment I got by someone on one of my open game save videos for some extra cards to play in the main deck. And one of those being Instant Fusion, Scapegoat, and Monster Reborn. This should be a Spellbook of Life, but I don't have one currently. It's just a Reborn to make cards like, you know, Knowledge, which is arguably one of the most important cards in the deck right now. Live, if you don't have another Spellbook in your hand you want to discard. Makes Fate live, it makes Master live, etc., etc. Scapegoat to go into cards like Boreload, or make Nightmare cards, because I'm playing some Nightmare cards in the extra deck. Instant Fusion to bring out either Window, which I don't have, so I'm playing this boy instead. To make, you know, Knowledge live, you can Instant Fusion out, and then summon Thousand Eyes, either go into Link Karibo or Knowledge it away and draw 2 cards. It's entirely up to you, but those are some just added tech cards, I guess. And then 1 Upstart, because we want to keep it 40, aka we want to keep it 39. And next we'll go into the traps. A couple of traps, not a lot, but triple Reckless Greed, because with Tower, when you lose your draw phase for those 2 turns, when you activate this card, basically in your standby phase becomes your draw phase with Tower. You just put a spellbook back, you draw, and then you're not really hurt by the effect of Reckless Greed and making it so you can't draw for the next 2 turns. So yeah. And the nice thing about this is if you have 2 set and they have a Droll Lock Bird, you activate 1, you always chain your Reckless Greeds together. So Reckless, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, and then you draw 4 cards, and then they droll you, but you just drew 4 cards, so you're going to be able to set up a nice board, if anything. So especially if you draw in some traps, i.e. some traps like this and this. I was playing a Warning as well. I was also thinking about playing this card because it just recycles a bunch of things, but that's just a story for another day, I guess. Now we'll go into the extra deck. I literally just threw this together last minute. It could be much better, I imagine. Thousand Eyes, Boreload, Decode, the Star Boy, because you can use 2 Blue Boys to go into this, and when it dies, you just add back a Blue Boy, so that's pretty cool. Phoenix and Goblin, the most versatile of the Nightmares to play. Proxy Dragon, because I don't have Mrs. Radiant. So this is for, you know, when you go into, you know, your Scapegoat into Link Spider, and then 2 tokens into Proxy, and then another token into Link Spider next to the Proxy. So It's definitely doable, you know, without Mrs. Radiant. I just don't have one. But it's nice that you can use Proxy and Link Spiders instead. Link Karibo, double Link Spider just in case, you know, one's not enough. And again, the extra decks never really mattered in this deck, but I guess you could, you know, mess around with it a bit now that we have Links and stuff and Instant Fusion being a little bit more viable. Red Eyes, Tomahawk, Baguzga, and Armored Kappa Kappa Kappa. Because this, you could go into this if you're really in a losing position and just kind of wall up a bit. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. We'll go into the side deck. I wanted to fit hand traps in here, but I really didn't find a spot. I think I know what I'd cut now. Triple Secret Village, Ivasili, triple Called By, in case they start signing the hand traps in heavy against you. Triple Zaphion. Then next we have triple Curse Seal, because you play a bunch of spells in the main as is, so this card just fits right in. And then triple D Barrier. I think I'd probably just play like triple Ghost Ogre or Droll or Ash or anything instead of these. So don't even count those. Just put your hand traps in wherever. And obviously the side deck isn't too important in most cases, but that's just for some food for thought, I guess, if you wanted some ideas. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for this Spellbook deck profile here in 2018, June 2018. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As always, you guys, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.